best optimum out of these three according to the requirement. And then point pattern analysis. Suppose you have a rainfall data collected from many places, and then that is basically representing at each point like a 100 kilometers away or 10 kilometers away. So what will happen to the rainfall in between? So for that you use those points, you interpolate and get the rainfall for the whole area, and then you have a grid analysis. It is something like a raster analysis. So we'll talk on that later. But this is the raster analysis. So what you talk is converting the whole area into different cells, and that cells are used for further analysis in the raster mode. So where it is used for various applications like a natural resource management, like agriculture, forestry, geosciences, geography, land use, land cover. So these are all natural resource management. Infrastructure development is you want to develop a pipeline, you want to develop a road infrastructure, rail infrastructure, and then maybe it is between Dehradun and Delhi and Ahmedabad. So whatever it is, so this is basically infrastructure development. And then we are talking about India, Iran oil pipeline. And earlier there was also discussion on what I say is networking of the rivers. And then wherever there is a floods or there a lot of water, how to utilize this, and where there is no rainfall, convert into other rivers or other streams. So that is all called infrastructure development, where your remote sensing GIS can be very effectively applied. Then utility services, you have like utility services like public health, water supply, telephone network, and then postal distribution. There are so many utility services in which we can use the GIS very effectively. So business applications. So somebody wanted to have a Coca-Cola factory, and then for him getting the good drinking water is important. So then he can use the remote sensing techniques and then integrate in a GIS, find out which are the areas are most potential, so that he can establish his factory there. And then you also have a real estate applications and retail application. Somebody wanted to establish one distribution location from where he wanted to sell his goods. Then first of all he can find using GIS what are the prospective areas. Already some of the areas is fully developed, some of the areas not developed, so that he can go to those areas so that he can get the maximum benefit out of the business. And then applying in e-governance. As I mentioned earlier, it is a information system and overall which in a GIS can work. So like e-governance also is one. So when you come to GIS, you can do any manipulation. It's a big continental ice where Antarctica. So the people have added a chemical converting a big area into a red. So is ice is red, is it possible? Theoretically, but not possible. But it is a man-made, people have tried to make a bigger area. So that means anything is possible. So similarly, any manipulation is possible in a GIS. So that doesn't mean it is everything is correct what you generated. So there are some more slides, but I'll take 5 more minutes, and then I think I'll invite you for questions. In the meantime, if you have questions, I hope you have displayed. I have our people displayed about phone numbers and then internet places. So any questions are there, you can send there in the meantime. So coming to this GIS, it is a huge potential of GIS available in India. Every department nowadays using a GIS as part of their application and the services. So we talk about Department of Space, DST, NIC, TCPO, Urban Department, and then state level departments. So they are also using. And then there are so many GIS entrepreneurs are there. ISRI India, Leica Geosystems, Erdasa, RMSI, TCS, Reliance, Sachem, so CSDMS. So there are so many entrepreneurs which are into the business of GIS, doing a good. And then a lot of universities, like you are all participating from different universities, have started GIS and remote sensing. So it is basically based on the demand. So the market, lot of demand is there. So all these things have been established. So coming back to the hardware and software, when you come to the hardware, suppose you wanted to take a PC for your own application. That means PC used for your study purposes. Similarly, the PC can be also used for GIS. You can also load a GIS software and then use it. Similarly, laptop also can be loaded a GIS software. So that means the computer you require is a personal computer or a workstation, or you can suppose you are working in a big university where they have 50 students or 100 students are working on a GIS. So they will be talking about a server, and the server the software and then connected to the clients. So that means you require a computer either according to the location and application and purpose. So it can be a PC, workstation, server. And the software it can be a proprietary, open source or free. Proprietary means it belongs to somebody, that person is selling to you, and then open source is the software which is giving the source code to the users so that they can download and then change the code and then further improve on that. And then the free GIS software, like some of the softwares, they are free but they may not be open. Like you have the RQ older version. So they give that, but at the same time, so they keep it proprietary. So that means you cannot do any changes. Whatever they give, then you should use it. Another important component is a scanner or digitizer. So this I think we'll be discussing more in detail. But nowadays scanner is replacing the digitizer because digitizer is becoming a 20 or 100 over the location of India. So then they have to spend 1 crore above for full-fledged GIS. So these are the different softwares. You have ArcGIS like LDAS. So these are all divided into 3 types. One is proprietary and open source. Free to 10 to 20 lakhs this thing. So when you come to GIS, it is not only GPS is not GPS, map and GIS software. They are not only GIS. There are so many things integrated together is called a GIS. So he is a father of remote sensing. So he is called Roger Tomlinson. So I will continue with my lecture. If I get some questions later, I will answer. So in the meantime, I will continue with my lecture. So the history, if you see that, so though GIS concept is used way back in, we say that 1840 or 50, where first time the GIS is applied for health applications. And that cholera spread in London, some doctor has used that, how this disease has occurred, what is the source of that, showing in terms of map. So that time computers were not there. So I am talking